everyone. So we are doing the chapter Biotechnology Principles and Processes. What are the steps of biotechnology? So we are looking into the topic 11.3. So processes of rDNA technology, right? So 11.3, there's a topic called processes of rDNA technology, means the steps of rDNA technology. What are the steps of rDNA technology? The first step will be, what do you want is isolation of DNA. The first step is isolation of desired DNA is the first step, right? Isolation of desired DNA, foreign DNA, target DNA, alien DNA, gene of interest, all of these are the synonyms for this one. How are you isolating? We have seen that how to isolate the DNA. DNA should be in pure form. For that you need to take cellulases, chitinases, lysozyme, proteases, RNases, enzymes. All these enzymes you will use and you will break all those components. Then you will do density gradient centrifugation. You separate all of them. Then you take the DNA out, which is in soluble form. When you start adding salt solution, then add chilled ethanol, DNA starts precipitating out. In the previous lecture, we discussed that. So that is the first step, isolation of the desired DNA. How do you do it? By enzyme digestion. Then after isolation of DNA, your second step will be selection of vector. The second step will be selection of vector. Now, vectors means so many vectors are there. Are you taking plasmid as a vector? Or are you taking bacteriophage as a vector in the case of bacteria? Or sometimes agrobacterium, bacteria is a vector. Adenovirus, retroviruses are also vectors. That is the second step, selection of vector. Now the third step, you have to digest the foreign DNA. You have to digest the vector DNA with restriction enzymes. The third process is, what is that? Restriction digestion. Restriction digestion with the restriction endonuclease. So will give fragments of DNA. When you digest it, you will get fragments of DNA. That is the third step, children. After digesting the DNA, when we get the fragments need to be separated out and isolated out. Now after digestion, the fragments are separated by gel electrophoresis technique. So fragments are separated by gel electrophoresis technique. Now, when you separate them on gel electrophoresis, when you stain them, bright orange color bands are visible under UV light, right? The separated DNA, when you stain with ethidium bromide, it gives bright orange color bands. Those orange color bands you'll identify and you'll cut it from the gel. This process is called elution. Like that, you have eluted the DNA. After seeing, you came to know that the DNA what you have isolated so far is very less. It is very, very less. So not enough to start the process. So then we need to amplify it. We need to propagate it. We need to multiply it to increase the concentration little bit more so that we can start the process of gene cloning. So then we need to amplify, I'm telling, and multiply. So I told you, when you do gel electrophoresis, the DNA what you got is very less, not sufficient to do gene cloning. At that point, we will go with PCR. At that point, we will go with PCR to multiply the DNA. Now here I will tell, I will not give the point here because in all the steps of biotechnology, PCR is not mandatory. After isolating the DNA, if you have ample amount of DNA, you need not do this step, right? If the volume of the DNA is small, if the quantity of DNA is small, if the DNA is small, then PCR is performed. When the amount of DNA is small, then PCR is performed to increase the concentration of the DNA, is performed to increase the concentration. We need to do PCR to increase the concentration. Now this is a technique of PCR. It is there in NCERT. This is 11.6 figure. I took it out from NCERT, 11.6 figure. We are going to talk about this technique called PCR. Now let us talk what is PCR. Right? PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. So are you polymerizing the DNA? You started with one DNA molecule, you got two DNA molecules, means it got polymerized one time, right? So PCR means polymerase. It's a chain reaction. After that you will go for one more round, after that you will go for one more round, after that you will go for one more round. It's a chain and it has many reactions. What's the full form of PCR? PCR stands for polymerase chain reaction. It is also called People's chain reaction. Also called People's chain reaction. Now, what are you doing here? We are amplifying the DNA. We are multiplying the DNA. So, inside the body are you doing the DNA? You are multiplying the DNA, or outside are you doing? In the lab are you doing? If you are doing inside the body, in vivo word we will use. If you are doing outside in a lab, in a test tube, it is in vitro. Here you are doing it outside, right? So this is called in vitro gene amplification. PCR comes under in vitro gene amplification technique. PCR comes under in vitro gene amplification technique, because you are amplifying the DNA outside in a test tube, in a machine, right? Who developed the technique PCR? A scientist called Kary Mullis in the year 1985 developed the technique PCR. So PCR was developed by Kary Mullis. PCR was developed by Kary Mullis in the year 1987. PCR was developed by Kary Mullis in the year 1985 it is. In the year 1985. Now you understood what is PCR. PCR is a gene amplification technique. Who developed it? Kary Mullis developed it. When did he develop it? 1985. What is the full name of PCR? Polymerase chain reaction, People's chain reaction. And I told you are going to multiply it, amplify it in the lab, in a machine. What is that machine where PCR is performed? The name of the machine is called as thermal cycler. What is the name of the machine? The name of the PCR machine. The name of the PCR machine is called thermal cycler. The name of the PCR machine is called thermal cycler. It's called thermal cycler. And it perfectly amplifies the DNA without any single damage or without any single mismatch base pairing also. 100% accurately it will multiply the DNA. 100% accuracy. It gives 100% accuracy in multiplication. So, we are with the topic 11.3. What is the topic called? Processes of rDNA technology. Under 11.3, we have a subtopic 11.3.3, which is called PCR, polymerase chain reaction. To reach this step, I just told what are the steps of rDNA technology. The first step is to isolate your DNA. What DNA you want to clone here? Insulin DNA na, vaccine DNA na, what DNA? That is your first step. How will you take the DNA out from a cell? Use enzymes to remove all unwanted components, take the DNA in a purified form. After that, selection of vector. So, range of vectors you have, select your vector. After that, digest the desired DNA and the vector DNA with restriction enzyme. When you digest the DNA, you get fragments. Those fragments are separated based on their size by a technique called gel electrophoresis. After doing gel electrophoresis, after cutting the separated fragments from gel electrophoresis, you saw that the DNA which you isolated is very little. not sufficient to start gene cloning experiment, not sufficient to start rDNA technology experiment. Then there is a machine, there is a technique where it will amplify the DNA and it will give you little more concentration. What is that technique called? It is PCR. It is our today's topic, 11.3.3 PCR, polymerase chain reaction, People's chain reaction. Is an in vitro gene amplification technique developed by Kary Mullis in the year 1985. The name of the machine in which the DNA is amplified is called as thermal cycler, and since machine is doing it without any mismatches in the base pairing, perfectly 100% accuracy it will do it. Take a screenshot, then we will continue. Right. Now, let us talk about the steps of the PCR. I took this figure from NCERT, it is 11.6, so that if I explain, it will be easy for you to go through the textbook. Your NCERT textbook is your whole and soul for your NEET. Let it be 2022, 2023, right? So each and every line, each and every diagram of NCERT, you need to understand thoroughly, right? Now let's go to the, what are we talking about? PCR. Now, what we need to do in PCR? What are the steps of the PCR? So in PCR is called as automated technique. It's an automated technique, means it will do how many number of cycles you want, those number of cycles it will do. What is the name of the machine? Thermal cycler. The name of the machine is called thermal cycler. Right now, so if you see the machine, it has a lid. It will be a box like this. So the machine is a box like this, and here you have a display. Here you will have a display, and when you open the lid, inside you have places where you can keep your containers. Now we will take a small Eppendorf. So if it is a big sample, we'll take it in a test tube, but DNA will take it with micropipettes. So you have small tubes, small tubes. These are called Eppendorfs. This is a small Eppendorf which is having a lid also, right? It will be like this. So we'll open like this. We'll open like this. When you open, now what are you going to add inside this Eppendorf tube? What are we going to add inside this Eppendorf tube? Now, take an Eppendorf tube. In the Eppendorf tube, take the DNA. The first step is you are adding the DNA. Add the DNA. So, when you are adding the DNA, then what should happen inside? So, first step is, I wrote here, denaturation, annealing, extension. There are 3 steps. The first step is denaturation. This is your DNA which you want to amplify. They told from here to here, this is the region to be amplified. Now this is the DNA when it has to be amplified. So that means 1 copy should be replicated to 2 copies, 4 copies, 8 copies, 16 copies. Means you have to read the base sequences which are present here. If you have to read the base sequences, then they should get exposed. Double stranded DNA should become single stranded DNA. So that means, are you supposed to break the hydrogen bonds here? Yes. How can you break the hydrogen bonds? By heating it. By heating it. The first step is called denaturation. What are you doing in denaturation? You are heating the DNA. In denaturation, the DNA is heated. The DNA is heated to 94 degrees centigrade for like 5 to 15 seconds. DNA is heated for 94 degrees centigrade for 5 to 15 seconds. When you heat it, children, what happens? The hydrogen bonds between both the strands of DNA will break. The double stranded DNA became single stranded DNA. The double stranded DNA became single stranded DNA. The bases are exposed after denaturation. So when you heat the DNA, what happens? I am telling, hydrogen bonds are broken. Hydrogen bonds are broken and double-stranded DNA becomes a single-stranded DNA. Double-stranded DNA becomes single-stranded DNA. So when it becomes single-stranded DNA, the next step, what is it called? Annealing. Children, the meaning of anneal means joining. So in annealing, what happens is when the DNA strand and when the DNA strand, single strands are exposed, now we know that DNA polymerase enzyme, it has to do initiation, elongation, termination. 3 steps it has to do. But we know that DNA polymerase enzyme cannot do initiation. It can do only elongation and termination. So that is why in our body, primase enzyme will come and it will synthesize a primer. That primer will come and initiate the process. In our body it is. But here, we have to provide the primer because it's an artificial technique, it's an in vitro system. You have to provide the primer. So this is a primer. What is this? This is a primer. And here also this is a primer. Now, next step called annealing. You are joining complementary primers to both the single-stranded DNA. So what happens in annealing? In annealing, complementary primers attach to the 3' end of single-stranded DNA. Complementary primers attached to the 3' end of the template. To the 3' end of the template, complementary primers will come and bind. Okay, so what are primers? Primers are small oligonucleotide strands. What are primers? Primers are small oligonucleotide strands. Right? Oligo means countable nucleotide strands will be there. So when you add these primers, complementary primers, those complementary primers will go and bind to the template DNA, are going and joining to the template DNA. For breaking the bond, you heated it to 94 degrees centigrade. Now you have to anneal it, means are you supposed to decrease the temperature? Then you have to make the bond here. So annealing temperature is 40 to 60 degrees centigrade. Annealing temperature is 40 to 60 degrees centigrade for 10 to 15 seconds. You will anneal it for 10 to 15 seconds. You will provide the temperature 40 to 15 degrees centigrade. Then what happens? The complementary primers. When you provide excess of primers, those complementary primers, as soon as they find the single-stranded DNA molecules, they go and bind to the 3' end of the template. Complementary primers will go and bind. That is the second step called annealing. After annealing happens, what is the third step? Third step is called extension. What's the third step called? It is called extension. It is also called polymerization. It's called extension or polymerization. Now, what happens? I talked about DNA polymerase. I told DNA polymerase cannot do initiation, but it can do elongation, it can do termination. Now, primer has started the process. Now, DNA polymerase enzyme can continue the process, right? DNA polymerase enzyme can continue the process. It can synthesize the DNA this way, it can synthesize the DNA this way. So, now in the third step called extension, add an enzyme called DNA polymerase. So, in extension, the DNA polymerase enzyme will continue polymerization. And it continues polymerization. See, this is continuing polymerization, this is continuing polymerization and makes 2 DNA molecules. It makes 2 DNA molecules. This is one DNA molecule, this is another DNA molecule. It will complete the round of replication. By it, what will the DNA polymerase do? DNA polymerase reads the bases on template DNA. DNA polymerase will read the bases which are present on the template DNA A, T, G, C, and from the mixture, in the Eppendorf itself, you have added DNTP mixture. What is DNTP mixture? Deoxynucleoside triphosphate mixture. DATP, DNTP mixture means it is deoxy ATP, deoxy CTP, deoxy TTP, deoxy GTP mixture you have provided. Because if A is here, TTP should come. If C is here, GTP should come. If G is here, CTP should come, right? So the DNA polymerase reads the bases present on the template and it picks the respective NTPs, ATP, GTP, CTP, and it extends the DNA molecule, and it reads the bases on the template and brings complementary, it brings complementary DNTPs. Then it converts the DNA, one DNA strand becomes two DNA strands. This is what is extension. For breaking the bonds, heat it to 94 degrees. Now for joining the bond, cool the temperature to 40 to 60 degrees temperature. For extension, now extension means DNA polymerase has an optimal temperature, right? So you have to maintain its perfect temperature. Now the temperature for extension is 72 degrees centigrade. So which temperature do we maintain? 72 degrees centigrade, and the time duration of extension depends on the length of the DNA. If the length of the DNA is big, it will take 30. So in extension, which is also called polymerization, DNA polymerase enzyme will continue and it will read the bases here and it will bring the respective ATPs, CTPs, GTPs, TTPs, and it will convert this DNA, one DNA molecule into two DNA molecules, right? So this is one round of PCR. So DNA PCR technique is meant for amplification. After step 1 denaturation, annealing and extension, we ended up with two molecules of DNA. See, here you got two molecules of DNA. Since it is a polymerase chain reaction, the cycle will repeat again. So these two strands of DNA, again they'll go to step 2. In step 2, what happens? Again when they are going to step 1, again they go to the step 1. Here in step 1, now instead of one DNA getting opened up, these two DNAs will open up. Now at the end, you will get 4 DNA molecules. In one cycle, from one DNA, if you are getting 2 DNA molecules, now in the next cycle, from here you will get 2 DNA molecules, from here you will get 2 DNA molecules. In the third cycle, so you will get 8 DNA molecules, right? You will get 8 DNA molecules. Like that the process goes on. And if you do some 30 cycles, you can amplify it to 1 billion times. How many number of cycles you want? You can run those many cycles and the DNA gets amplified to 1 billion times. This is a technique of PCR. So what are the 3 steps? Denaturation, annealing and extension. Take a screenshot fast. Yes. Now I told the name of the machine is called thermal cycler. Now the machine has a monitor, it has a screen. You have to set the program on the screen. So what we need to do, I will tell you. Take an Eppendorf tube. This is the machine which is called thermal cycler. So take an Eppendorf. In this Eppendorf, what we need to add is the DNA sample. Add the DNA sample. Add the complementary oligonucleotide primers. Add the complementary oligonucleotide primers we need to add. Then next add DNTP mixture. I told you what is DNTP mixture means. ATP, GTP, CTP, TTP. Add DNTP mixture. Then add DNA polymerase enzyme also. And little bit of buffer solution because water is required for the reaction to happen. So 1, 2, this is the first thing, second thing, third one, fourth one, 5 things you're going to add everything inside. So your DNA sample, your oligonucleotide primers, DNTP mixture, the enzyme which will do it, and then buffer. Everything you will add in this Eppendorf. You will close the Eppendorf and drop the Eppendorf in this block. Here you will drop here. So means here I drawed 4. So it's small PCRs also will be there, big PCRs also will be there. Whatever is the sample, keep it inside. Then when you keep it inside, when you close the lid, now the monitor will become on. So monitor will be on, and on this monitor, if you take this as a monitor, it will ask step 1. It will tell step 1 and it will tell its denaturation. Step 1, it will tell it is denaturation. Then we need to tell, depending upon the length of the DNA, you fix the temperature to it. You tell denature this DNA at 94 degrees centigrade for 5 seconds. You say you are setting the program. So then after you set this temperature and time, it will ask step 2. My step 2 is annealing. Step 2 is annealing, and it will ask you at which temperature you want to anneal. So we told, like, depending upon the DNA, like 40 to 60, any temperature. I took 40 degrees. 40 degrees, you are asking it to anneal it for 15 seconds. So you have to set the temperature, you have to set the duration depending upon the length of your DNA. So annealing, it will ask this temperature, this time you have given. Then it will ask you, okay, step T is extension, it will tell. Step 3 is extension. What temperature you want, it will ask. So the temperature is always 72 degrees centigrade only. Now depending upon the length of the DNA, the time duration you will set. If the length of the DNA is big, you have to go for 30 seconds. If the length of the DNA is small, 15 seconds, 10 seconds is also sufficient. I'll go with 30 seconds. After setting the temperature and duration, then it will ask number of cycles. The machine is asking the program, it's asking number of cycles. Tell 30 cycles I want. Tell 30 cycles and want. Then it will give you the approximate time. So 20 seconds and 30 seconds means 50 seconds. 50 seconds, 1 cycle. You gave 30 cycles. So approximately it will give you the time duration. Okay, within how many, like 15 to 20 minutes, something roughly it will give you the time. Within this time, I'll amplify your DNA, it will tell. So that 15-20 minutes, you can just go out and do another work. After 15-20 minutes, it will do all these things because it is a cyclic process. You closed it and you have set the program like this. After 15-20 minutes, when the 30 cycles are amplified, are copied, it will start giving that beep sound. Beep, beep, beep. It will give the sound telling that your DNA is amplified now, you can take it out. Your DNA is amplified now, you can take it out. So that's why we tell it is automated machine, because everything it is doing and all the steps are one after the other. You are not taking in between, adding something again, keeping it inside. So all the steps will be followed one after the other. So then after it is done, it will give you. So see how simplified the technique is, right? After the sample gets amplified, so how many amount of DNA you can multiply means 1 billion times you can multiply. Beyond 1 billion times you cannot multiply. This is your maximal limit. Since machine is doing it, contamination to chance is not at all there. Then there's no mismatchings also. Perfect additions will be done. 100% accuracy you will get, and you will get your desired quantity. You will get your desired quantity of DNA. You will get your desired quantity of DNA. Now take the DNA and start gene cloning now. Take your DNA, start gene cloning now. What is gene cloning? Take your DNA and keep it inside the vector. Make an rDNA vector, and this rDNA vector is sent into bacteria. And this bacteria, whenever it is multiplying, then your DNA also gets multiplied, right? This is what is called gene cloning. This is what is called biotechnology. Now, one doubt should crop in your mind. So, this machine is also doing the same thing. It is amplifying the gene or the DNA. But this biotechnology process is also doing the same thing. Here, the machine is doing it. Here, bacteria is doing it. If bacteria is doing it, you are calling gene cloning. Gene is getting cloned by the bacteria. Here, the machine is cloning it. So, why can't you do one more round of PCR? You can get that question in your mind, right? So, why I need to do with this gene cloning procedure again, which is lengthy and which is so much of time taking. Why can't I continue? There's a small box, I can keep it in the one corner and I can amplify and I can produce n number of copies. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. But the thing is, each and everything you need to buy and you need to add it. Primers, you need to purchase it. ATP, GTP, building bricks for making DNA, you need to buy it. DNA polymerase, you need to buy it. Everything you need to buy it, you need to maintain the temperature, everything, right? So then for small amount you can afford it, but if you want this much amount to sample, it will be quite expensive. It will be quite expensive, right? So then you cannot afford doing it every time to get a large number, bulk scale quantities, you cannot get it, right? So for getting bulk scale quantities, gene cloning is the best way. Why? Bacteria is a manufacturing plant. Bacteria know how to prepare a primer. Bacteria can manufacture ATP, GTP, CTP, TTP. Bacteria will manufacture the enzyme also and give you. And bacteria is doing it very fast also. And bacteria grows on waste medium also. How many advantages am I telling about gene cloning when compared to this technique? So we should understand that when to use this technique, when to go with this technique. When the amount of sample is very low, so where you don't have any choice, you want to increase this sample to this much, so this much you can afford it. But then I am telling I want this much, so that much you cannot afford, it's very expensive. Then we will ask the bacteria to do it. That's called gene cloning. So gene cloning, now come on, tell me, in where we are cloning the gene in bacteria, is it in vivo amplification or in vitro amplification? Gene cloning comes under in vivo amplification, whereas this PCR comes under in vitro amplification. PCR comes under in vitro amplification. This comes under in vivo amplification. Children, did you understand the technique of PCR? What it is? Polymerase chain reaction. It is a cyclic process. Who developed it? Kary Mullis developed it. In which year he developed it? 1985 he developed it. What is it? You are amplifying the DNA. After separating the DNA, if the amount of DNA is small, then we have to do this. For that, take the DNA. What are the steps? First one is denaturation. Heat it to how much degrees temperature? We wrote it, 94 degrees centigrade. When you heat it, what happens? The hydrogen bonds between the double stranded DNA will open. And then when it opens, the bases are exposed. The next one is annealing. In annealing, complementary oligonucleotide primers will come and bind. They will start the process. For annealing, the temperature goes like 40 to 60 degrees centigrade. After that, extension. In extension, the polymerase enzyme will extend the DNA. So the temperature for extension is 72 degrees centigrade. Now notice one point. Everything you are adding in one shot in the Eppendorf, you are closing it, right? Now the bacteria, the enzyme, Taq DNA polymerase enzyme, in one step it is getting exposed to 94 degrees centigrade temperature. In another step it is getting exposed to 40 to 60 degrees temperature. In another step it is getting exposed to 72 degrees temperature. And what we studied about enzymes is, enzymes are thermosensitive. Enzymes act at a very optimal range. Enzymes get denatured when you fluctuate the temperature. That's what we studied, no? Now, are you fluctuating the temperature? Yeah, we are fluctuating the temperature. You are exposing to different temperatures, right? Then, how is it tolerating then? How is it tolerating then? You know, that's why I wrote a word called Taq. So, what does Taq codes for? Taq codes for Thermus aquaticus. T stands for thermus. AQ stands for Thermus aquaticus. Taq stands for Thermus aquaticus, which is a thermostable, which is a thermophilic bacteria. Thermus aquaticus, what is it? It is thermophilic bacteria. Thermus aquaticus is a thermophilic bacteria which grows in hot springs. The bacteria is growing in hot springs where the temperature is very high till 95, 97, 99 degrees temperature. Now, if we take a normal DNA polymerase from any other bacteria, that DNA polymerase will denature when you expose it to 94 degrees temperature. But if you take a polymerase which is from a thermophilic bacteria like Thermus aquaticus or Thermococcus, which is surviving in hot springs, which can survive till 99 degrees temperature, then it will not affect. The temperature fluctuations will not affect. So, we cannot use a normal DNA polymerase enzyme. We have to use Taq DNA polymerase enzyme only, which is thermostable, which is extracted from Thermus aquaticus. Children, all this is about the gene amplification technique, PCR. Hope you understood the lecture. So our next step will be like bioprocessing engineering, how to prepare a bioreactor and how to do bioprocessing, that we will see. So if the lecture is informative, like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.